moving on to the next session. So how many of us use social media? Show of hands. So are we really using it? Are we product or we are using a product? So I mean to say, are we using it just for like, share, retweet, or are we using to post our content, which is originally coming from us? How many of us do that? Original content, right? So we are not using social media, we are the product. So how we can use social media in such a way that it helps us? So for that, to understand how we can use social media and to build an online presence, improve our image, and create brand for ourselves, we have with us Mr. Eric Sim. After completing his master's, he joined DBS Bank. Thereafter, he went on to work with some of the best organizations in the world, like Standard Chartered, Citi, ANG, before joining UBS AG Investment Bank, where he was promoted to managing director position in very short period of time. In 2015, he founded his own company, Institute of Life, which helps professionals become productive at work and successful in life. Eric is also a social media coach to senior executives in finance industry and helps them share thought leadership online. He also teaches finance courses at various educational institutes. Eric's presentation is titled Building Your Online Presence and Brand. After his talk, there will be a 15-minute Q&A. We can use either Slido or question cards. The Q&A session will be moderated by my volunteer colleague, Jitendra Chawla. Jitendra is director on board of CFA Society India in volunteer capacity. In his day job, he works as vice president, investment solutions at private wealth management division of Deutsche Bank. So without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Eric Sim.
Thank you for the introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here. This is the first time I'm coming to India. I'm in India less than 15 hours. I just landed last night. So thank you for the invitation. When I was invited by CFA to come and give a speech in India, I accepted it without knowing that it takes 6 hours to fly from Singapore to New Delhi. And I said that, hey, the best thing or the best way to know a country is to know the people. And the best way to know the people is to come and meet the people. And today I want to share with you my story, how I navigate my career and what happened when I was young and what happened now. And hope that in the next 40 minutes, you can have excellent key takeaway from this conference. And I know that there are people feeling very squeezed behind. If you want, you can move forward. There are lots of empty seats. And the slides are excellent. And it will be a pity if you cannot read the small fonts at the bottom of the screen. So if you want to move forward, please come. It may change your life. This is as powerful as that. All right. So let me start. When I was age 13, I failed my history. I couldn't figure out what's what except the date, of each event. I also failed my mathematics, and it's very shameful. So I went on to study really, really hard, not watching TV, studying till 3 a.m. in the morning often. And the following year, I then failed my English, and I got 28 out of 100 for literature. Sorry. I was trying to press I got 28 out of 100 for literature. If my son gets that score today, I'm going to kill him. But fortunately, I managed to improve, and I gone on to NUS engineering, and then I got my first job in DBS Bank. So this is my banking career, starting from DBS as FX sales. In Stanchart, I was the risk manager, and in Citi, I spent 8 years over there, in Singapore, Shanghai, and in Hong Kong, doing global markets, derivative structuring, and 6 years in UBS as MD in investment banking. Beside the banking career, I also like to teach. So I teach in 4 universities. I started out with National University of Singapore. I started out by giving career day talks to the students. I told HR, hey, can I come to the university with HR to sell Citibank? They say, yeah, you are a VP in structuring, maybe the student will like you. So I went there, and the professor liked me enough and invited me to say, hey, you're in structuring, can you come back to teach our financial engineering student? So I did that, and gradually, I get to teach in other universities. This is Renmin University in China. This is Tsinghua University. And finally, at Hong Kong UST, I'm the associate professor teaching investment banking. But that's not enough for me. So I went on to write on LinkedIn, set up my own company, Institute of Life, work with eFinancial Career, and of course, I work a lot with CFA. So I've done annual conference in Hong Kong, in Singapore as well. So this is pretty much my career. So what I want to do is really to use my banking career to drive my teaching career and use my teaching career to drive my own business. So when my banking career stops, I can still go on to coach people, to share my knowledge on career skills and life skills. And today, I really want to share with you the 7 steps of selling, because a lot of people today who comes here, we are looking for jobs. We are looking for better opportunity in India or elsewhere, or in another company. So what are we really doing? We are selling. But the product that you are selling is you, right? So we need to identify the target. Who's our target customer? Is it the bank? It's not the institution, but the hiring manager. The potential hiring manager is your customer. How do we build rapport with them? If you send in CV without knowing who you are targeting, chances are your CV get thrown into the rubbish bin. Because sometimes that's what I do when I receive CV unsolicited. But if I got to know the person, it helps a lot. Building rapport and trust. If you can build rapport and trust with people already in the company, not necessarily the hiring manager, but could be the hiring manager subordinate who can put in a good word for you, then it helps a lot. We then need to identify their needs and problems. What do they need? This company now needs somebody in Singapore to service Indian clients. You can offer that. You are willing to relocate, you are single, and you can travel. So you can present yourself to that. Huh? Single because you can relocate at very low cost. If you got 4 kids, you have to pay for your kids' education. But of course, if you are married, it doesn't mean that you cannot go. Of course, you can go. Just that maybe you got more consideration. You present yourself as a solution, you overcome objection, because nobody is going to say that, fantastic, you are the right person. Usually you say, you're too young, you're single, but you got not enough experience. So how do you overcome that? You execute and then you follow up. So today I want to talk about social media for building rapport and trust. How do you build rapport and trust? That is very, very key before you present yourself. Next is a benefit of personal brand. So what's the benefit? You attract employers. If you got a brand, right? They know who you are. You are the expert in this particular field. They want you, right? You can charge a premium. Sometimes you get a job, but not willing to pay because you don't have a brand. We pay for Apple products at a premium because it has a brand. Sometimes when you don't have a brand, you need to offer the cheapest price. That means the lowest salary. That's a premium. Number 3 is developing yourself. As you think of your own brand, you start thinking, what can I offer? What's my weakness? How do I position myself? Who's my target audience? Where do I want to work? I want to work in Hong Kong. My weakness is Cantonese. Is that a real weakness? Maybe not. What can I offer over there? So as you build your brand, you start developing yourself, you start learning. So a lot of time people think that building a brand is for other people to see you. The other half of the equation is for you to see yourself more clearly. The 3 qualities of a brand is, number 1, can you be trusted? If you cannot be trusted, no business. Nobody will hire you, right? Number 2, are you competent? If you can be trusted but not competent, then you are useless. If you are competent but cannot be trusted, you are dangerous. Because you can go against the hirer, right? They hire you and you do something wrong. But of course, you also must be interesting to keep the relationship ongoing. If you are boring, even you are competent, it can be trusted. After a while, people goes away and they look for somebody else. So how do we build our brand that has these 3 qualities? Number 1 is social media, right? Later maybe we can talk about offline. But today I really want to focus on social media because the people in our company, outside our company, when they see us, they not only see us face to face, they see us on social media. The average person spends 3 hours on mobile phone every day. If they spend 3 hours on mobile phone, are you there? If you are there, what do they see about you? What are you posting? If you are looking for jobs, what is our social media strategy? Or if you are professional, what's our social media strategy? Number 1, make LinkedIn the center of your social media. Put content and then share that content on other social media. So for example, I spend most of my time on LinkedIn. I also have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, you have WhatsApp. But I'm less active on those. WhatsApp I use for daily communication. Later I'll show you what I do. If you Google yourself, most likely in the first page, your LinkedIn appears. If you don't believe, you can try it now. Take out your mobile, go to Google, type in your name and your company, and see what comes up. You want to try it now? If you got your mobile phone, try it and see what you have. Rohan, what do you see when you Google yourself? Surely LinkedIn. By the way, Rohan is one of my friends who flew from Mumbai to here just to meet me. And Gaurav, on the front row, is my LinkedIn follower. I've never met him before. He knows me from LinkedIn, and he knows that I'm coming here to speak. He's here this morning. So that's the power of social media. So if somebody Googles you, somebody wants to hire you, right? They see what comes up, then they see LinkedIn. And then if your LinkedIn is not done up, then the impression is maybe you are just normal. But if your LinkedIn is done up with photos, with some achievement, with connection with articles, the impression of you will be better. Because every small steps count when we are looking for a job. For every job, there are hundreds of people applying. So we need to do everything we can to make ourselves a little bit better. I also make sure that I'm consistent across all social media. I use the same photo for Facebook, Twitter, or on Instagram. It doesn't mean that I'm on Facebook, I'm in my shorts and t-shirt. On Instagram, I'm in my bikini. No. Even if I wear that, I cannot compete with the girls on Instagram. If I'm a banker, I'm always a banker, no matter what social media it is. I sacrifice a little bit. That means I don't post my kids' photo, I don't post my holiday photos. When looking for a job, that's not very important. Even on WeChat and WhatsApp, it's the same photo. Because a lot of time when your friend sees you, he say, hey, maybe you can be, maybe you can come and work for my friend, another friend. They come via Facebook. They introduce a friend, and your profile photo is a photo of you drunk at a party. Not a very good impression. So you never know when the introduction is going to come. And sometimes I move from social media to WhatsApp. For example, somebody introduced via Facebook is a potential client and say, hey, let's move on to WhatsApp. If it's the same photo, it's easier. The communication becomes very seamless because the person haven't met you before. Sometimes you change your photo, they cannot recognize you. And of course, a lot of people Photoshop their photos. So you look very different, yeah. Of course, there's one downside, because I don't show my personal side. There was once a gardener, which I tried to hire, came introduced via WhatsApp. I said, hey, can you come tomorrow? I've got a little garden that need trimming, pruning, fertilizer. So next day he came, then I was in the garden doing my gardening. Then I said, hey, this is the house, this is the place. Can you come over? So for 20 minutes, I show him, this is the place to plant the next tree, this is the place to chop off the tree. Then he took all the instruction and get his man to help. Then he picked up his phone and point to this photo and say, where is your father? He couldn't recognize me because I was in my shorts and t-shirt. So that's the only downside, which I can live with. More importantly, if it's somebody who wants to pay me a huge money to speak, I make sure that I have got the right photo for the person. So WhatsApp, also very key to keep your image consistent. You can also post a different language for LinkedIn. For me, I have a Chinese profile. So LinkedIn is one account, 2 or 3 languages. So if you want to work in France, you have a French profile, right? If you are studying Chinese now, maybe not so good yet, but you think you want to differentiate yourself by saying that you know China. Get a Chinese profile. Get somebody to help you translate and put it there. So then you differentiate yourself among the competitors. Strategy number 2 is to understand the difference between TV commercials and TV shows. A lot of us are posting TV commercials, right? My kid or my son is number 1 in school. That is TV commercial. It doesn't help any of your friends. It only makes them jealous. For example, if I post, hey, I'm coming to speak at CFA event, please sign up. That is kind of a promotion. You can do that provided you add value. So if I say, hey, 9 ways of getting good at social media, this is adding value. So for me, what I do is, out of 10 posts, 9 posts add value, 1 post is promotion. So you can do that. So think about what is adding value. You showing your holidays, that's TV commercial. You're showing, hey, look at me, I'm so happy. You know, I'm staying at 5-star hotel. I'm at Michelin star restaurant. That's all TV commercials. But if you say, which are the 3 restaurants to entertain your client in Delhi? That is a TV show. So you want to produce TV show because nobody go to a channel just to look at advertisement. Number 4, how to write. Because on social media, it's very different from writing in school. Writing in school, we need an introduction, 1 paragraph, the body, and a conclusion. Unfortunately, that doesn't work in social media because the attention span of adult is very short. The attention span of adult pre-Facebook is 12 seconds. Goldfish is 9 seconds. And today, attention span is 8 seconds. So within 8 seconds, if you don't capture your audience, they're gone. They read another article. So what do you want to do? We want to make sure that we focus on the first sentence. The sole purpose of the first sentence is to get the reader to read the second sentence. Do you know the sole purpose of the second sentence? Is to get the reader to read the third sentence. So on and so forth. If you can do that for every sentence, you get a slippery slope. I'll show you an example what a slippery slope is like. We are going to die. And that makes us the lucky ones. How can it be? Dying and lucky, it doesn't make sense. So I want to read the second sentence. Tell me the second sentence. Most people are never going to die. That's not possible. We all know that death and tax are guaranteed in life. Because they are never going to be born. Thank you. The potential people who could have been in my place, right, outnumbered, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumbered the sand grains of Arabia. Certainly, those unborn ghosts include greater poets than kids, scientists greater than Newton. If this is an advertisement, right, after reading, you say, why did I waste the last 30 seconds reading this useless advertisement? But they achieve what they want. They wasted your 30 seconds, but, they don't care what you think. But for us, when we write, not only must we capture the attention, get people interested to keep reading, but we also must make sure that there is good content. So, of course, Richard Dawkins, fantastic content like that. It's worth reading. How to take photos. Most people, they take photos like that. They love sushi. Say they go to a sushi restaurant, they will take like 20, because they take 20 sushi, so they take 20 photos and they post maybe 15 to 20 photos. If I want to look at sushi photos, I go to the restaurant website. I don't need to look at my friend's sushi photo because I'm not the one eating, right? I got also another friend who posts 139 photos and expect me to go through one by one, looking at his kids or her kids. People like kids, provided the kids are their own. But on social media is you post one kid photo, I feel obligated. I feel obligated to like your kid's photo. So I like. Then you think, oh, kid's photo works so well. Next week you post again. I continue to like. Now I like twice. I also start posting my kid's photo. Now you feel obligated. So this thing go on, and everybody thinks that, hey, kid's photo is so popular. The truth is, no, we are doing it out of obligation. So don't do too many of that. So when I post photo, I try to include people. I went to Cambridge to give a talk. This is King's College. People always go to Cambridge and take a photo of the King's College. And my King's College photo will look like everybody else. So I waited. This is 6 a.m. in the morning, summertime. I waited for this cyclist to pass here, then I snapped the photo. If you look carefully, those behind, I don't know whether you can see, there's a lady running here as well, jogging. So taking photo takes some effort. is not just take from where you sit. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. If you want to add me, you can follow me. You can follow my company, Institute of Life, on LinkedIn. If you got any question that you cannot get the answer today, feel free to write to me. I've got my email over there and also my company website. Let me also take a photo so I can post on my social media. The problem is sometimes when the front row is empty, right? People think that I'm not good enough. Hey, why is not full house? They expect 2 rows on the side standing full of people. Sometimes that happens when I'm in other events. So today, if those people who want to ask questions, or you want to get more interaction, please feel free to come to the front. Yeah. Do we?
That was a very interesting session, Eric.
Thank you. Thanks for having me,
you know,
and thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed it totally. Yeah.
Well, it's not just incidental. The way I actually kind of thought of inviting you was, the idea also came from social media, because I follow the Singapore and the Hong Kong society feeds on Twitter, and you had a workshop in March, and it just popped when we were thinking of speakers for this event. So more power to social media for that.
Yeah. So without that post, you wouldn't have known me.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely right. All right. So I have a few questions before we can take a couple of questions from the audience.
Sure.
You come from a very humble background. We've heard the story of your childhood, how you were not very good at studies. But how do you overcome these challenges? A lot of us do go through this early on, but the past actually keeps burdening what we think. So how do you move on?
Number one is to overcome this challenge, I try to choose one area to focus on at any one point in time, because we don't have the capacity to do so many things when you are just an average, ordinary person. So I failed my mathematics and failed my English, so I decided to just focus on my mathematics. I didn't write good English maybe until like 3-4 years ago. Even now, you can still find spelling error, grammatical error in my post. So I started with mathematics. Then later on, I'm an introvert. So I forced myself to go and speak at events. 10 people event, I speak for 2-3 minutes. I try to grab those chance. I usually want to think big. If let's say I want one day I can speak to 1,000 people, but I start small. 5 person, 2 minutes, I start from there. And I try to act now. That means I try not to wait for things to happen. And then you say sometimes we are burdened by our past. So when I joined investment banking, the people around me come from Ivy League. The person working for me that I hired is a Beijing University undergrad and Yale masters, native in both languages. So I feel my background is dragging me a little bit. So the first few years at UBS, I didn't let people know of my background because I'm already MD, right? There's no need to let people know. But later on, someone told me, hey, Eric has a fantastic story, you should listen to him. Because he knows that I came from the hawker world. My father was just a street food vendor. I find that appeals to people even more. When you have a failure, you have a story. When you don't have failure in your life, there's no story. Imagine this guy born to a family that is worth $1 billion, and today he's still worth $1 billion. No story. To us, you want to be in that position because now we got no money. There's a positive change. But for the person who was born to $1 billion, there's no positive change. his life is very empty, and I deal a lot with these high net worth people, and I know that. So failure, we can turn it to something positive. For example, I failed my English. So on the social media, I write in simple English, I write in point form. It appeals to readers whose native language is not English. Yeah.
So work on your strengths, take small goals, and reach for the stars, maybe.
Think big, start small, act now.
Wow, great. A lot of people sitting in the audience kind of indicated that they're not very active on social media. One of the main reasons I think intuitively is that most of them think that they do not have any interesting bits to post. And when you begin, you don't have many followers, so there's nobody to read. So how do you get over this mindset and start being active on the media?
So if you change your target audience to people who wants to know about India investment environment, then you have a lot to offer, right? If your audience is Indian, then what they know and what you know is the same. But to somebody like, for me, I would love to know what are the people doing, because sometimes we hear the rich-poor gap is so wide, but we haven't seen. If you can just interview your colleagues, people on the street, how they survive, that's an interesting story to many people in the West. So sometimes it's also to change your target audience. But of course, now, if our target audience is employers, we want to get jobs, we want to use our social media to get jobs, then we want to show that we are an expert in our field. We want to show that we are a thinking person. We want to show that our post is of high quality. That means my photo is of the highest quality. Even I go down to the street taking a push cart, selling drinks. Nobody interviews them. Nobody gives them a voice. You willing to give them a voice. If I'm the employer, I say that beside asset management, there's a human side to you. I want to talk to you. I may not hire you. I don't know whether I'll hire you or not, but I want to talk to this person. So if you look at it from those contexts, high quality posts, either you have an audience that is not in India, or you put in effort with your photo and with your writing, you still have stories. I talk about my tailor. A lot of people have tailor in this part of the world. It's not too expensive. But who bothers to interview the tailor? Yeah, who bothers to interview that soy sauce chicken noodle seller? A lot of people know that he has won an award. A lot of people went down to just take the photo, but nobody knows he customized his store to his height. He's only 1.5 meters. So if you're 1.5 meter tall and you take a standard height, after chopping 3 chicken, your hands will be numb. So he has to customize it. So when I went to interview him, I know. And then you can bring it up. So that's interesting. So a lot of interesting things are around us. The plant, you have plants as well, maybe at home or by the river that you walk past every day. Something changed, right? When the weather changes, when it's too dry. And plants, when the weather is dry, the leaves shed. But they don't die. When it rains again, the new leaves comes out. Can us be like that? When the environment is not good, we relax. We study, we train ourselves. When the environment is good, I go out there to hunt for a job again. Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
And followers, you just try adding. Add 30 connection a day, good quality connection a day. How many will you get in a year?
More than 9,000, more than 10,000.
You'll be 10,000. So if you consistently add 30 people, so I add people. I add my UBS colleague and Citibank colleague, people who are in the same department. I never met them before, but because we are in the same department, globally, he's from Switzerland or from London, he's more likely to add me or accept my invitation. If I want to work in Deutsche Bank, I start adding Deutsche Bank people, right? At least then I get to meet even the junior, I understand their culture, and next time when I have an interview, I already got more information.
Great advice. And again, a lot of times you come across people connecting with you on LinkedIn. the moment you accept the invite, the next thing you know, you get a message seeking a job. Is that the right thing to do? Or if not, then what is the right way to approach somebody for a job?
I think you should not waste the chance of building the relationship. Just now in the 7 steps of selling, step number 2 is building rapport. And only step number 4 is to present the solution, which is you. If the first thing you do is to present the solution without the rapport, they will hire you if you are the cheapest. If you say that I'm the cheapest analyst in whole of Delhi, please hire me, there is a chance. But if you don't want to be the cheapest, you still want to command a premium, then they'll be asking, why should they hire you? They've got so many friends around them. So what we want to do is, when we connect, what can we do for this person? Can I do some free work? Can I do some Excel work? Can I prepare his PowerPoint? Some of my followers, what they do is, they offer to carry my bag. Say, can I carry your bag for the presentation to the car and from the car? Because they know that carrying the bag means they have face-to-face time with me, right? They hope to learn 1 or 2 things. They hope to show that they are willing to do the mundane job so that I can hire them. Because a lot of people, I want to hire people who can do the job that my current team don't want to do. Can you be the person? Then if yes, yeah. But if you come and the first thing you say, I need a job, I'm so good, then people do not continue the conversation, because most people want to buy, but they do not want to be sold. Even you go to a shop, the moment somebody asks, can I help you? You are on your defensive. You want to look around. You want to make the decision on your own.
Right. So make yourself interesting and useful.
Yes.
All right. I'll take some questions from the audience now.
Sure.
One question I got is, what is your opinion about blogging and personal websites for building your personal brand?
Okay. Personal website is very difficult to drive traffic. Because these days, right, everybody got so many social media that they are following. They don't have time to look at a personal website. I look at even Bill Gates, I don't go to his personal website. I read Bill Gates' blog on Facebook, sometimes on LinkedIn. So even such a famous person is using social media platform to drive traffic to his platform, to his own website. So for ordinary people like us, it will be much more difficult. So I suggest start on LinkedIn, and once your LinkedIn has got some followers, you can then put a link to your website. So you write the full article on your website, and on your LinkedIn, you give a summary. To understand more, please go to my website. So that's the way to do it.
We've covered job seekers, but
Yeah.
a lot of people in the audience would want to have their own businesses in future. So there's a question which somebody's asked as to how, if there are any opportunities or tools for such people who are seeking to expand or start their businesses instead of, let's say, doing jobs. So how do they use social media to drive that?
Yeah. So for me, I'm running my business. My business is training, right? I want to be invited for keynote speeches. I want people to come to me for coaching. So it's a business. And then what do you want to do? You need to add value first. So I'm already giving advice for career and life skill on social media. And people like it, they want more, they come to you. So give a little bit. For example, you want to sell a product, could be a healthcare product. Then you start talking about health. Don't talk about your product first. Once you talk about health, you are the health expert. And next time when you sell a health product, you have credibility. So for business owner, build your credibility first, then sell later. So building your credibility is the same as step number 2 in the 7 steps of selling. Building rapport and trust with your audience. then the product can come later.
Perfect. All right. Then there's a question of how to get attentions of employers via social media. So it's one thing making your profile interesting, but should you actively seek out these employers? I think some of it you've already covered.
Yeah, you should seek out, if you want to work for a particular company, add many people from that company, right? And add the junior one, because the junior people are more likely to accept you and maybe to meet up. So you find out how are they structured, what kind of skill set are they looking for, is there opening? Not directly from the manager, because likely the hiring manager will not tell you, but it is the other people. But also what you can offer them. These junior people, they see you as more senior, maybe you got something else to offer, they give you some information. So the way I seek out is to gather information, gather market intelligence, understand their culture, and try to learn the skill set so that you fit into their culture.
This is a more of a personal question. You were working in investment banking, and you had a very successful career. What motivated you to go ahead and start teaching and doing public speaking and starting your Institute of Life?
Yeah. To achieve happiness, right? The best way is to give. If you keep taking, it shows that you don't have enough. So people who are very rich and they are still working, they are, still working for money, that means they are not rich enough. The people who are really rich are the people who say, I have this amount of money, this is sufficient. Like for me, I wear a Timex watch, so I don't need a lot of money to spend for the rest of my life. I feel that I have enough. Why don't I help more people, impact more people? And it's also making money just maybe less than before, but still I get speaking engagement, I get coaching job, and also very fulfilling. I can come here speaking with you and the audience today is because I'm willing to share my experience, and that helps me learn a lot.
One question I had in mind was that we can create a personal image and brand online, but it has to resonate in the real world as well when you meet people.
Yeah.
A lot of times you meet someone personally and you know about their online persona, they're completely different.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for the audience which can be of help here? How to build that same brand offline as well as you do online?
So if you are authentic, then you'll be the same person online and offline. Then of course when you meet somebody, if you want to create an impression face to face, your physical appearance, although it's very shallow, is how people judge you at the beginning, the first 3 to 5 minutes. So how you dress, if you are physically fit, so that helps. So if you work out, keep a trim body, that helps. It may take a lot of work. Number 2 is when you're engaging with people, try to find out what area you can help them. Not by asking them. It's not like some people come, straight away they say, what can I do for you? I'm not going to tell you what you can do for me because I don't know what you can offer, right? But if you are sincerely wanting to help somebody, maybe this person is short of time to coach the kids. You can teach mathematics to the kids or teach a foreign language to the kids. Can you help in that aspect, the personal aspect for that person? And if the person wants to hire somebody, you are one of the person that he or she will think of. So always keep a lookout on areas that you can help others. Or the person may need somebody who's good in Excel to come in to prepare an Excel simulation. That also will create an impression, rather than going in to say that, hey, is there any job opening, that you ruin the chance.
Most of the audience in here, sitting here, they are just starting their career.
Yeah.
Very, very beginning of their careers. Even though you had a successful career, there would be things which you think you would have known at the start,
Yeah.
which would have helped you. What are those? I mean, we are running out of time, so this is the last question. What are those top 2-3 things which you would like to tell them, which they should know instead of experiencing and knowing later?
Learn a new skills beyond your current job scope. Learn from your colleagues, learn from another department, and also plan for internal transfer. So at the early part of my job, I already planned if I want to move within this company, which department do I want to go? It could be 2 years or 3 years down the road. I will do free work for that department. I will get to know the department's boss. So the moment they need to hire, they will think of me because I've done so much. I've got staff who go to office 2 hours earlier to do free work for another department. So at the end, she moved from middle office to front office within 2-3 years. I think if you can have that mindset of learning and planning internal transfer, you get to learn a lot. Because internal transfer helps you learn more than when you change company. When you change a company, you need to use your old skills to contribute. If not, you will not be hired. But when you change department, what you are contributing is your integrity, your work ethics. But the product knowledge is different because you don't have the new product from the new department, and that's when you get to learn.
Excellent. We've run out of time. I could have asked maybe 10, 20 more questions, but that we. So everyone, Eric would be there at the meet and greet. Please do reach out to him. I'm sure you have many more questions to ask him, and very interesting answers he will give. I'm sure of that.
Thank you. Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. Thanks for having me.